Hello, all you cool cats and kittens. Alright, let's read Chapter 3, Dr. Snow Has Got to Go. Remember in Chapter 2 we learned they are going to have a science fair. Alright, Chapter 3, Brainstorming. A science fair? I never heard of a science fair. Will there be cotton candy at the science fair? Asked Ryan. No, said the snowman. Will there be rides? Asked Alexia. No. Can we win stuffed animals? I asked. No. What? The science fair sounded like a science unfair to me. Boo! Everybody was booing and hooting and hollering and freaking out. Mr. Docker held up his hand and made a V with his fingers. That's the victory peace sign. It means shut up. The science fair is going to be fun, the snowman told us. Each of you can do an experiment, just like a real scientist. Kids can't be scientists, somebody yelled. Sure they can, replied the snowman. You can conduct experiments in chemistry, physics, biology, and engineering using everyday objects you have around your house. Each of you will do a project. Wait, I think he just said the P word. Project is a horrible word because it means work. It means cutting and pasting and drawing and gluing and folding and stapling stuff. I'd rather fall into quicksand than do a project. I'd rather get attacked by a porcupine than do a project. I'd rather go to school on the weekend than do a project. Will there be prizes for the best project? Asked Andrea, who will do anything as long as she might win a prize so she can show that she's better than everybody else. Yes, said the snowman. The student with the best science project will win a year's pass to the city's science museum, and they will also receive a year's supply of Porky's pork sausages. Yay! Everybody started cheering. I don't like museums very much, but Porky's pork sausages are the best pork sausages. Oh, I hope I win, said Little Miss Perfect as we filed out of the all-porpoise room. Me too, said Emily, who always agrees with everything Andrea says. When we got back to class, Mr. Cooper passed out. He passed out paper and pencils. He told us to start taking notes and brainstorming about science fair ideas. Brainstorming is when you have a storm in your brain, so it has the perfect name. I need to use the restroom, he said. I'll be back in a few minutes to see how you're making out. Ugh, gross, we all shouted. As soon as Mr. Cooper left, Ryan, Michael, Neil, and I snapped into action. We got up on our chairs and shook our butts at the class. Boys, Andrea said, rolling her eyes, while you waste your time acting like dumbheads, I'm going to get to work so I can win the science fair contest. I really didn't care about winning the science fair contest. I just wanted to make sure that Andrea didn't win, so I sat back down and tried to think of a cool science fair project. We should blow something up, I suggested. Scientists are always blowing stuff up. Blowing things up is not science, said Little Miss Party Pooper. Science is all about inventing new useful things and building things that make life easier for people. Inventing things. That got all of us thinking. I'm going to invent a solar-powered skateboard, said Alexia. The top will be covered with solar panels. That's a cool idea, I said. Using nuclear power would be even cooler, but it's hard to fit a nuclear reactor on a skateboard. I'm going to invent an electric chicken chucker, said Ryan. What does a chicken chucker do? Asked Neil. It chucks chickens, Ryan replied. I don't know why chucking chickens would make anybody's life easier. It sure wouldn't make a chicken's easier, but in my head I imagined a machine chucking chickens and it did seem cool. I'm going to invent a time machine, said Neil. That way I can go back to the year before Twinkies were invented. Why would you want to do that? Asked Emily. So I could invent Twinkies, Neil replied. I'll be rich, rich, rich. That's when I got the greatest idea in the history of the world. I'm going to invent an air conditioner that you wear on your feet, I said. Why would you want to put an air conditioner on your feet? Asked Neil. Sometimes my feet get hot, I explained. I'm going to invent anti-gravity underwear, said Michael. Why? Neil asked. So I can fly, of course, said Michael. We were all coming up with really good ideas for the science fair. I drew a picture of myself walking around with 2 little air conditioners on my feet. What are you going to do for your science project, Andrea? Asked Emily. Oh, my project is a secret, Andrea replied. I tried to peek at Andrea's paper, but she was hanging all over it so I couldn't see. I still say we should blow something up, I announced. Maybe we can invent a robot that will make people's lives easier, and then we'll have it blow up when the robot turns evil. I saw that in a movie once. At that moment, the weirdest thing in the history of the world happened. I glanced toward the doorway and saw the snowman's frizzy psycho hair in the corner. He was rubbing his hands together and listening to our conversation. I don't care what anybody says. The snowman is definitely crazy, and he probably wants to take over the world. There are only 2 reasons why anybody ever rubs their hands together. Either they want to take over the world, or they're cold. And the snowman wasn't cold. Ooh, he looks a little evil.